Why, hello, everybody. I need to fix something because somebody had to happen to move their camera around, so everything all got jacked up.
It's not my fault this time.
It wasn't my fault.
Usually it is my fault.
Fixing stream live, y'all. Boy,
I didn't do anything, I swear.
somebody had to disconnect and reconnect. Otherwise, something it would not have been all jacked up like this.
Hello.
Well, hello, everybody out there in Twitch land. It is good to see you again, and we are here somehow, amazingly, for our first episodic adventures of Grumpy Vets playing D&D. Even though there is two people in here that are not veterans, but they are associated to veterans in some form or fashion. Obviously, to introduce everybody, directly above me is my good friend, Goodfellow ZK, aka Zach, the resident Shaft Rider Navyman. Directly to my left, there we go. That way is Roadrunner, aka Brennis, our head in the clouds flyboy, Airman. Directly next to him is our good friend Jimmy. He is associated with a veteran in a certain fashion in which I am not allowed to divulge at this time.
That sounded so weird.
Just a little bit.
That sounded
like a Monica Lewinsky situation, or what?
Did we
I
make
played the fifth.
that minute? That's
Just above me to my left is Danny, or Mr. Potato. He is my younger brother. Oh, I need to move my mic away from my face. I apologize for that.
Yes, it does not look good when you're trying to eat your microphone.
You don't want me to eat my microphone?
Oh, no.
Hey,
Family
domo
friendly,
Mr.
right?
Roboto, Mr. Potato.
So, for everyone that isn't familiar, this is D&D with Grumpy Vets. We are getting ready to jump into a world of my own creation. And luckily for this particular group, they happen to start with one of the best opportunities in the world.
Run
Most
away.
literally. They have the opportunity to set forth on a quest determined by the king of the land of Gaia, the Great Alliance of Inuit Atlas. So, now that we are finally here, I would like each of you to drag your token in, just over here, and depart the boat, which has helped sail you here. Minsk, you are permitted to start anywhere inside the town, as you are currently a resident. Upon departing the ship, first guard steps to you, looking you up and down, ensuring that you won't be a threat to anything inside of the town.
You like what you see?
What brings you here, stranger?
Kind of felt like it.
Are you here to browse the town's wares?
I just scratch myself.
The guard shakes his head, almost dismissively, before standing aside for you to pass on the dock.
How do I get my character in there?
Up in the top left-hand corner, or excuse me, right-hand corner of your screen, you will see several icons. There's a chat-looking icon, images, and a journal, which looks like a newspaper. Go ahead and click on that. You'll be able to click on your character's name and drag that towards the ship. Left click and drag. Once you release, your character token will pop up.
Cool.
There you are.
Let's
Okay,
check
fine.
real quick. Do I sound like a robot still?
Yes, you do.
Yep.
I have to disconnect for it to stop.
Go ahead and take care of it.
Okay.
So, what you're currently using is a ruler. Once you... Just make sure you turn your camera back on. There you are. Once you get into this screen, up in the upper left-hand side, you will see a cursor. Go ahead and click on that, and you will be able to click and drag your character. The guard stops you as you attempt to walk past him. Oh wait, same question for you. What's your business inside the town?
I just point towards the town.
He'll look curiously to where you're pointing, kind of shake his head, denoting your appearance, writing something down before stepping off and say, cause any trouble, the god will be after you. The guardsman looks down once more at the ship, just checking to ensure that no one else might be departing. If Sally so chooses, she can depart the ship now, otherwise it will return to her previous location.
Jimmy, that's you.
Am I allowed to go a different route? Because like I don't want to deal with that guard.
You can absolutely jump overboard
off
and
the boat.
swim to shore.
Yeah, like
Just be
I'll
aware.
I'll do that. I'm gonna let them distract those guards, and I found a sneaky way to not deal
Alright.
with the guards. So I want to be sneaky right now. If that's okay with you, Dragon Dungeon Master, sir.
Feel free.
Thank
Just be aware
you.
you are going to be a little bit damp. Your instrument isn't gonna quite sound in tune unless you sit down to tune it.
Really now. Well, I wasn't planning on using it just yet.
Alright. Feel free to drag your character token just over here. This is the closest landing point that you'd be able to have.
And hold on. Okay. Right there.
There you go. Okay. Drag Nerd, you are aware that a letter that you currently carry, as well as FUD, is addressed to all adventurers willing and able from King Hershey of Gaia. He awaits you at his manor and is ready to provide generous compensation should you choose to accept a quest from him. Minsk, the king has sent forth one of his loyal bodyguards, specifically Knight Arkmane, his right-hand man. Knowing that you are the most competent among the Sweetwater boys, he has behested you to please help him and Gaia in this time of need.
Sir Knight, what are you here for?
Arkmane looks you up and down, chortles softly, and says, well, I'm sure you have an idea of why I'm here. Errands tend to lend themselves towards those that are lower down. You still up to adventuring?
Oh. I couldn't say that I'm closed off to it. I was really trying to work my way up the ranks within the Sweetwater Boys, as you know, but If something pulls me out of town, I guess I'll just have to fish the whole world.
I might have a proposition for you. King's looking to build a couple troops to head out on the waters. Try and figure out what the hell is going on with it. Really. You notice
Ah,
fishing's been a little bit slim here recently?
I have. I was wondering if it was just because of the fish's fear of my incredible capabilities, but I assumed it might be something a little different.
Knight Archmain chortles at the statement and says, "No, not quite. No, there's been a development somewhere out in the ocean that we can't quite tell where. We just know that there was massive release of energy, almost like somebody was trying to open a lock with every ounce of power they had in them.
Hmm.
King's looking to try and investigate and figure out why. There's a new ship that we've got set up in harbor, but she needs crew. And obviously, we can't go, kind of motioning to himself and the knight standing watch very close by. So we were figuring a couple adventurers might be up to the task. You know, a knight's duty is to his kingdom. There ain't quite a kingdom out on the ocean. You, with your experience, you'd be a good addition to the troop, if you're willing.
Mineski's gonna lean back and pick up his fishing rod out of his post that he's got set up to surf fish and nod and say, that does make sense. I did see Knight Caster almost drowned to death in his armor last week, so I think I'm up for that.
He'll kind of look at you incredulously and say, "Again? I
I
swear."
I believe it's the third time so far. He
Uh,
needs to be stationed away from the docks.
yeah. Unfortunately, having him anywhere near the palace, excuse me, the manor, forgot he renamed it. And it's not quite the best idea ever. I'll probably have to stick him over in the market or something. I appreciate it though. Can I
Of
count
course.
on you showing up to the king's summons?
When is it?
Uh, well, that ship with new adventurers should have just arrived, so if you want to head over now, you might be able to beat him to the punch.
I think I'd like to do so. Say hi to Uncle Redmayne for a minute.
That's a good choice. He's been itching for some of that stew that you brought last time.
Oh, you can't thank me for that one. You have to thank little Jerry.
All right. I'm gonna step out for a couple other errands. Just head over to the castle.
Sounds good.
King
Mineski's
should be
gonna
waiting on you. Just let him know I sent you. He'll set you up.
all right. Mineski's gonna start his way towards the keep.
And with that, Archmain is going to move into the market, moving towards one of his favorite shops. Dregnerd, Fudd, back over to you two, as well as you, Sally. What are you doing from here? You just had a long, hard trip across the ocean.
I want
Some
a
of you,
sandwich.
some of you coming from the Northern Isles, Gaia. Some of you coming from the mainland, which means you had to trek over land and sea.
Yeah, that was me. I would like a sandwich.
So as you look around, you notice that nearby doesn't seem to be any inns or eateries. It seems to be that you are very close to the construction yard, as well as the barracks for all the soldiers inside of Echo Harbor.
Yeah, I'm leaving. So can I move?
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on.
No, I'm gonna look at this guard that right outside the dock there. I'm like, where is the closest tavern?
I want a sandwich.
He'll kind of slide his eyes over to you and point to a blue roofed building just here and say, well, your best option is right over there. Good rooms, too. I highly advise it.
I'm not going to be here that long.
I just want a sandwich. Do I need to
Alright.
yell that at him, or can I just find it on my own?
You can absolutely try and find it on your own.
Okay.
There are signage above each of the buildings.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll a perception for me.
Roll up my section.
A
What?
perception. Give
Roll
me a
a
perception.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Hold on. How do I do that in here? The
So
little dice?
on your Roll20 character sheet, or excuse me, your D&D
Uh-huh.
Beyond character sheet.
So I
About
go to D&D Beyond.
Yep. About midway down on your skills, which is the large rectangular window, you will see
Okay.
perception. Just tap the button with the plus or negative beside perception, and it will automatically roll.
I need my glasses. Where did you say it was again?
A large rectangular box right in the center. You'll
About
see
Mhm.
midway down on that box.
You'll see perception with a number next to it. You want to click on that number.
Oh, my apologies. I forgot the best part of this.
I'm not seeing it.
The atmosphere.
I don't see it. I see the little dice. I see strength, dexterity, constitution, saving throws. So where am I looking wrong?
So it should
right-
be under skills. So you'll see acrobatics and animal handling at the top.
They have a bunch of numbers in a column.
Yeah.
She may not have the screen in full screen.
Large enough. Yes.
Oh, I have to do this. Man, why can't I do half of it on my phone? I have to have like 5 things open.
Yes.
Welcome to my
Unfortunately.
world.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's why he has like 5 monitors. 4, sorry.
Yeah, and it's still not enough real estate.
It's really not.
difficult. Okay, go to someone else. I'll download this stupid thing.
Absolutely. Okay,
I just wanted a sandwich.
Minsk, will you be stopping into the inn?
Minsk will be probably just to grab something to eat before he goes up there. He's been fishing all morning.
All right. Please go ahead and grab your character tokens and drag them in at the front door, which is just up here.
How do I change the volume real quick on the jukebox?
Settings,
Okay, settings.
visual audio.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
There you go.
Hey, Mr. Blurry DM.
Yes. Oh,
Dude, seriously, turn your autofocus off.
I can't. It's impossible on this camera.
Download the Logitech software, force it to use that, then you can turn it off.
So, as you make your way in, you notice the inn is lightly populated. The barkeeper pouring a fresh tap for one of the customers that has just stepped in. I look over and say, "How's fishing these days, Minsk?"
Not too bad. You know, I was really fighting a big one yesterday. He almost broke my my favorite rod. You know the larger red one.
The
Completely in two.
redwood, yeah.
Yes.
Man, you best not go breaking that.
Oh, I know.
Harry in the kitchen bust your ass with the broken rod.
Oh, I know he will. Especially since his brother made it for me.
He'll
Oh,
set the rather large mug of ale down in front of you.
thanks, man. Is there any chance I can get a bit of that soup in that pot back there?
He'll kind of
As I point towards the kitchen.
take a sniff and go, "Yeah, just give me a sec." He reaches behind the counter, pulling out a small rock, and says, "Bowl of soup, if you would. Minska's here." And kind of set the rock back down underneath the counter. Before
Thanks, man.
turning to you, Dragner. "Ah, stranger in these parts. What can I do for you today?"
Ale, please.
Alright, that'll be 1 silver. And head off to the tap. You got a preferred ale? We got a couple different kinds. One brewed here, one brewed in the mountains, and one from that small isle of concrete.
I
Minsky's
don't
gonna
know.
lean over and whisper in his ear and say, "I'd stay away from the stuff from here. It's hasn't had the best effects on people."
Anything but from here, I guess.
The innkeep kind of shoots a glance towards Minsk and say, "I heard that." Before
raised my hand.
pouring you a tall, fresh pitcher, seeing as you are a very tall, scaled warrior, and setting it down in front of you. "I'll take those 2 silver now, unless you want to open a tab. In which case,
You said
minimum's
1
a
silver
single."
first, sir. You're trying to
He'll kinda-
you're trying to
He'll kind of
get me.
smile over at the Minsk and say, "We got a sharp one on him." It's
Oh,
1
yeah.
silver.
As I put it on the bar top.
He'll take it away, tuck it into a pouch, and step away towards the kitchen to go get Minsk's meal. Fudd, what are you doing this whole time?
So I'm looking around, seeing if I want to sit at the bar or get a table.
Oh, go ahead and roll a perception for me. So, as far as you can tell, all the tables are full. Your best option will definitely be the bar, even though it's slightly crowded as well. Just click and drag. There you go.
Somebody doesn't have to.
The innkeep, kind of passing by you, says, "Give me just a second, and I'll be right with you. Just gotta grab some food."
Is he Elvis?
The barkeep?
Yeah,
The bar-
maybe.
The barkeep is half dwarven.
Oh. Okay,
Uh,
I can roll the perception now.
Okay, go ahead and
Whenever
roll the
you're ready.
perception for me. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, no. Do your thing and just come back to me.
Why does it have me as rolling twice?
I don't know. I noticed that. Give a random roll. See if it just does it everything twice for some reason.
I'm not seeing it done twice.
Yeah, I'm seeing it
Yeah.
twice. In the chat for Roll20.
Yeah.
Oh, when it goes over to roll 20. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me give it a test.
That's singular.
Yeah.
Oh.
If mine's goofy.
Alright, sorry about that.
Yeah, it looks like it's just that.
So it had you... Yeah, it did have you roll twice. That's interesting. That's fine, it's nothing we can't work
So
around.
do I need to have enable advanced dice checked or unchecked?
Advanced dice in Roll20 or D&D Beyond?
20.
No, don't have that checked.
Take care of it.
So the innkeep steps back out and starts moving towards, starts moving back towards the bar. He carries a rather hefty-looking bowl with him as he moves towards Minsk, just behind you, buddy. Says, "Hey, Minsk, here you go. Usual tab."
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna take the bowl and set it down in front of me.
He'll, as he's walking past you, Fudd, oops. He will start asking you, "So, what can I get for you, stranger?"
So I'll have an ale from here and a bowl of that soup.
He'll nod and say, "Alright, that'll be a silver and 5 copper."
I'm
And for
gonna
those
look
of you
over.
that don't know, inside of your inventory you should automatically start with 10 gold coins. These gold coins are translated as such. 1 silver is, 10 silver is equal to 1 gold, and 10 copper are equal to 1 silver.
Pretty simple. I'm gonna look over at this mysterious stranger that walked in and look at him very confused at his choices.
I'm just
The
trying to look
barkeep
at
will-
my... Yeah, well, it was 1 silver, right?
1 silver, 5 copper. He'll reiterate as he's, topping off this drink that he has prepared for you. He'll kind of set it down and move his hand from the resting position to pointing at your wings and say, I ain't seen a whole hell of a lot with wings like that. How'd one come across something like that?"
As I just perk my head up out of my picture. Probably the same way I got the scales, but his is probably a chicken.
The innkeeper will kind of lean on the bar looking back at you. I've heard that kind of line before. Last guy that made that whip ended up out on his ass. We would be respectful here. And
I
he'll
mean-
look back towards you, Fudd, and say, "If you don't care to divulge, it's more than fine by me. I was just curious is all."
And like by wings... I'm sorry, I'm not following that for a sec.
You're good.
My character have wings? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Non-functional wings, but wings at the least.
Like, was I born with them? I don't know. Like, is that just something like
So,
Genetic.
my, yeah. Is that just
for those of you that don't know, a lot of character development, especially for something like this, happens to occur directly on scene. So during a session, you may decide that you are going to implement a characteristic onto your character, and this characteristic will become permanent. A DM always remembers and keeps track of everything that might occur within it.
Until all the stupid tab starts happening.
Yeah, until all the stupid stuff starts happening, in which case, it's out the window. So, Zach, your character does indeed have wings. They are genetic, but non-functional. As many times as you've tried, they've never seemed to quite work. But go ahead and give me a history check, to see if you can recall that. with a natural 1, you kind of look at the barkeep, unable to formulate any kind of history on it, and you'll just shrug. He'll nod and say, fair enough. And he'll look to you and Dragnerd, which happens to flank one of his favorites at the bar. Say, now, what brings y'all gentlemen to Echo Harbor? Ain't a whole lot of travelers come through here, especially recent. There's
I
gotta
heard that
be
there was a
some
big
reason
fight.
behind it. A big fight?
Yeah, I heard there's something big to fight, so... Got a letter in the mail from apparently the lord of this area and said there was something big to fight, so I'm here. I mean, you can just take a look at my last trophy as I pull the great sword out from behind my back and then put it back down.
Very quickly, quicker than you could imagine, the barkeep immediately moves away from the bar, drawing 2 daggers. Before you even had a chance to lay your hand on your broadsword.
Relax, I'm not gonna do anything.
He'll kind of shoot a glance towards Minsk and say, you're here to fight something big and you get a letter from King Hershey.
Mince
Yeah.
is gonna nod towards the bartender and
He'll slowly resheathe the daggers that are tucked in the back of his belt. So you got a letter from the king. Hershey, is that the same one you brought over about a week ago? Excuse me, Minsk. My bad. Names are getting confusing. Minsk,
Yes.
that the same one you brought over about a week ago?
Minsk is gonna pull the fresh letter that he received from the knight
Arkmain.
Arkmain, and say, "Yep, just got another one today from Arkmain himself."
The bartender will scoff and say, oh, I can't believe they got Arkmain up off his ass.
Oh, trust me, I was surprised too. I'm sure he was probably just nearby because he was looking for something good to eat, though.
Well, Karagorn's always been about for food. He stopped by his shop.
I'm sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear.
Did he stop by his shop?
I believe so. He looked like he was heading towards the market.
I'll keep an eye out for him then.
I'm sure
But-
he'll be back up here.
Minsk, assuming you got that letter a while ago, I guess the king would be waiting for you, wouldn't he?
Well, I'd already told him. Well, I had told him myself. I'd told a couple people around town that I didn't think I was gonna follow along with it, but it seems as if they definitely want me to join in on the crusade of theirs.
I mean,
It's
why the
kinda
hell
neat.
not? It's something fun to fight. Come on.
Well,
He'll
with
nod
it being
towards
in the
the,
sea, with it being in the sea, I can imagine it might be something that I'd be interested in.
the barkeep will nod towards the Dragonborn and say, well, I mean, hell, considering you got 2 adequately armed fellows here, I'd take a guess and say that it's a good chance for you, huh?
I believe so, my old friend. I looked towards the Dragonborn character and nodded my head and held my hand out as a formal meeting, or formal greeting, and say, pleasure to meet you, sir. What's your name?
I'm Dragner.
Nice to
As
meet
I-
you, Dragner.
Extend my my hand out and just kind of claw the center of the inside of his hand as I'm shaking it.
Minsk is gonna flinch, but kind of try to hold his own. You'll notice his hands are very soft and supple.
Go ahead and do a Constitution check for me.
Oh, me?
Constitution saving throw.
Oh, Constitution saving throw. Beautiful. Yeah, that was a natural one.
A natural 1. You take 4 points of damage from him clawing your hand.
Oh,
Sally, go ahead and roll that perception check for me.
Are you sure?
Very.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Sandwich time.
Heads or tails?
I got a 17.
A 17. So you immediately notice the same blue building that you've seen several adventurers walk into.
You
It
better
has
have
a
sandwich.
large sign on the front with a stew pot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, how do I get back to my screen on this thingy?
So I have this screen pulled up. I'm in control of it. So go ahead and drag your character into the front door, which is right here.
Okay. Where is she?
Give me one moment. Here. There you go. There's your character.
Wow. Okay. Here I am. Do you have a sandwich? Does anybody know where a sandwich is?
The barkeep
like-
immediately kind of sits up and looks over to you and say, "Hey, we can get you a sandwich. Take a seat on the bar and I'll get one out for you right away." He immediately steps away from the bar, quick stepping, to go get the bowl of stew for Fudd and the sandwich for this newcomer.
Did he say sit on a bar stool or on the bar?
He said, "Come sit at the bar."
Okay, I'm just checking. Okay, I'm gonna come sit. Come here. Oh, Jesus.
I'll move your character.
Okay, yes, I'm at the bar waiting on a sandwich.
So the
That's
barkeep
so-
immediately steps off. You see him disappear through this first door, and you hear a lot of racket, what seems to be the kitchen, as Harry and the barkeep are arguing back and forth.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
sounds like a
care,
lover's
as long as they
spat
bring
back
me a
there.
sandwich.
Very
That
shortly
better-
after, the barkeep reemerges with a bowl of stew and a very tall-looking sandwich stacked with several layers of fresh vegetables as well as 3 layers of meat, which seems to be fresh sliced. He
Sure.
approaches just behind you, sets the sandwich down in front of you, Sally, and sets the bowl of stew down in front of Fudd. He'll motion to you, Sally, as he's making his way back around the bar, saying, "Now that'll be 1 silver, if you don't mind. I had the cook make it up special for you."
Mince is gonna look over at the bartender and just be like, "Where's that kind of love whenever I come in here?"
He'll look over to Minsk and say, "Well, as soon as you're willing to go in there and fight Harry to get a damn sandwich made, you'll get the same kind of love."
So in other
Yeah.
words, as soon as you grow a rack, he'll start feeding you better.
Oh my god, I'm not talking to that thing. Excuse me, bartender. May
What
I
can I
ask
do for
what
you,
type
miss?
of sandwich is this? And could I have a drink too?
Sure thing, miss. We got
Yes.
mountain ale, we got ale made local, and we got some stuff from concrete. What would you like?
You have something made out of concrete?
We have ale made from the Isle of Concrete.
Huh. I'll take the Isle of something, please. And
Alright.
what kind of meat is in my sandwich? Just
I'll
curious.
kind of motion over and say, "Well, it's fresh venison, leeks, chives, several fresh sliced carrots and potatoes, as well as a unique meat rare to the area, which is a salbud. It's a type of fish." He motions over to Minsk and say, "Minsk actually fishes the damn things for us. By the way, I need that next shipment as soon as you can, assuming the supply is still in stock."
Okay.
Mince is gonna kind of questioningly rub the back of his head and say, yeah, it should be in sometime soon.
He'll shoot you a very knowing look and say, just as soon as you can get it. I don't need nothing on speed, but as soon as you can get it, I'd appreciate it.
Minsk will nod his head and understand that if he doesn't do this, his tab will no longer be infinite.
Very quickly, you see a mug of ale, fresh from the Isle of Concrete, sitting in front of you, Sally. And he'll motion. The barkeep will motion over to Dragnerd and say, "So, stranger, what can I get you for some kind of meal? It is midday."
I'm good. Got my ale. I'm good.
He'll kind of look over your frame and say, "Now, I ain't no strangers, dragonkin, and you got a fair bit of meat on those bones. You need something to keep it up other than ale. As hardy as this stuff might be, keeping food in you is the first tenet of adventuring."
Well, thankfully, because we were on ship, there was some fish that were jumping up out of the sea. I just had myself a light snack as we were coming.
He'll chuckle at the thought and say, "Well, fair enough. Man, you might tell the Sweetwater boys to head out that way, whichever way that ship came from. Especially if they got fish jumping out of the sea."
Minsk is gonna look over and quickly ask, where did you see this?
That way.
Dragnerd. Minsk is gonna look at the wall in which Dragnerd's pointing at.
Specifically,
What way did you come in?
Dragnerd,
North,
specifically, you came from the direct west. The sea between the two large portions of Gaia.
Yeah, like I said, that way.
Minsk is just gonna accept defeat and understand that the beautiful flying fish in which he's talking about are not going to be able to get got.
All right, with that said,
Can I give him my fish? I don't like fish.
that is up to your character.
She hands over the fish to the sad whatever you are. I'm sorry, I'm hungry, but I don't like this food, so I'm sharing, and then I'm gonna eat the sandwich and figure out what's going on. Does he have a drink? Can I cheers him? Cheers, Mr. Potato, who I don't know your name, but that's what you look like to me right now.
Minsk is gonna take the fish and just be incredibly confused, but kind of just rip it apart and drop it into his stew as he finishes it up.
Awesome, I made a friend. Okay. I'm gonna go. Sally is gonna eat her sandwich in peace now. Look at our dungeon master's face right now.
He's very concentrated. He's trying
Yes,
to
I am. I'm trying to figure out why I can't move these characters.
Are you talking about the guard?
Yep. Oh, there we go. That's unusual.
Did you
Very
act?
quickly, a guard is going to move in and approach you, Minsk.
Minsk
Sure.
is gonna turn around.
Sir Minsk, excuse me, Sir Hinskew, the king is immediately requesting your attention. This matter is urgent. I was sent
Minsk is
over
gonna-
here by Arkmain.
Miss is gonna nod and say, Arkmain just recently got in contact with me, and Miss is gonna pull the letter back out of his jacket and kind of wave it in the air in front of the guard's face and tuck it back
There's
in quickly.
he'll very swiftly bat the hand away and say, "There's been a recent development."
Hey, I got one of those
Something-
letters too. Look. Ah.
Miss is gonna look over and kind of have a slight smile in understanding that this very cool dragonborn that actually accepted his advice is gonna be a part of his new team. Minsk is gonna look back at the guard and gonna be like, I guess if it's urgent.
Very much so. Please make your way to the manor as soon as possible. He'll look around and say, and if any of you happen to receive a similar letter, the Lord of the castle, the Lord of Gaia, is requesting your assistance immediately.
I look down at my picture. Give me a minute.
The guard is already
Needs
gone,
help? Yeah, help him.
disappearing as quick as he arrived.
I'm gonna quickly hop up and turn around to the bartender and say, just leave it on my usual tab, and I'll get to you about that shipment, and quickly walk out the door towards the castle.
Alright, go ahead and once you have your character token selected, hit the delete button. Not backspace, but delete. And that will remove your character from the plane.
After I finish the ale, bye-bye.
So, with Dragnerd and Minsk leaving, the bartender looks to the last two of his visitors. Two faces he's never seen before. I propose a question. Did either of you happen to receive a letter from the king about, going out and taking care of business?
Yep. When a friend needs help, you help him, and then I walk out.
Yeah, but can I finish my sandwich and then walk out? Or do you have a to-go box?
The last customer he looks to is you, Sally. He says, they've got 3 headed over that way already. I'm sure that if you took your time, the king would wait, or one of your, I guess, soon-to-be party members might be willing to elaborate on whatever the king has to say.
Okay.
With that, he steps off towards a rather large-looking ladle, and pulling it closer to his face, he takes a sip and makes a very sour-looking face before he shakes his head and pours the rest of it out on the floor and moves towards the kitchen with ladle in hand, assumingly to go berate the chef.
Oh, he probably deserved to be berated. It's okay.
Must be an army cook.
Can I just run out now
You
and
can.
not pay? Okay, goodbye.
This is a very poor choice.
Takes a
but-
sandwich. Who said I made good choices in this game? I'm
Once you
leaving.
arrive at the manor, please drag your character tokens into this first entry hall.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to do it for me.
It's fine.
I'm still eating my sandwich, by the way.
Not entirely recommended in the king's court, but fair enough.
Yeah, but I
It's
look
gonna-
adorable doing it, so
Minsk is gonna turn around and see this and just quietly whisper over as we're walking in and be like, I would probably leave that here if I were you.
I mean, I would do it.
don't talk about the dragon that way.
Minsk is gonna look down and realize that there's a small dragon at her feet and say, well, hello, little friend, who are you?
That's Muffin. He's my dragon.
Uncle Jeff?
Pleasure to meet you, Muffin.
Uncle
And
Jeff
no,
looks at you and says, shh. It goes back to being a dragon.
Minsk is gonna kind of look back up at Jimmy and say, I believe I was talking about the sandwich, though, not the dragon.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in my pocket. Alright, it's in my pocket.
Quickly,
holding?
upon hear no, she does not.
It's just a really big pocket.
Upon hearing the main doors open, very quickly, a guard steps out looking around the room at 3 unfamiliar faces and one he knows very well. Minsk, it's Henry. Are you here about the ad?
Minsk is gonna quickly step over to Henry and say, yes. I guess I kind of don't have a choice about this one.
He'll kind of motion quickly to the three companions that he has with him and say, are they with you?
Yes. Yeah, I believe they're with me.
Very
I'm
quickly he
with
says,
them.
no time to explain. You have to get in here as soon as possible. And he immediately steps through the door and reassumes his position as guard, leaving the door wide open for the king's courtroom, which contains 2 guards, the knight captain, and the king himself.
Minsk is gonna walk in, but not while stopping by and giving a little a crotch tap to the guard on the other side of the door, knowing that it was his cousin.
Calvin kind of... He scowls at you through a helmet, which you can minorly see his eyebrows furrow, as he knows he will find you later on with the Sweetwater boys.
Minsk is gonna quickly step away.
No
Who's
cod
gonna
piece
walk
today,
by?
I see.
See the
Crack.
guard crunched over a little bit. Say, nerd.
As you approach the king, he rises from his throne to bow to you. Not unheard of from the king of Gaia, who
This
has been
is
known as
fun.
benevolent, understanding of all his people, and greatly concerned about any threat that may oppose them. Beside him, you see the king's knight, Karagon Askew. Arkman. Karagorn looks to you, nodding slowly at Minsk before scanning each of the new arrival, and taking a half step backwards, so the king knows that he is cleared to speak to such unknown new arrival. King Hershey, taking a half step forward from his throne, looks at each of you, and my map has messed up again.
It keeps liking to shift.
Yeah, it likes to shift a lot. He looks to each of you. I see that you've received my summons. Thank you, on behalf of the people of Gaia, for accepting. We have rather grave news. Only recently did we discover that the seas had shifted tide, implying that either a great landmass or a being of immense size has entered this world. Our mages in the court have suggested that potentially it is the latter, as there was a great amount of mana dispersed just northeast of us, inside of the Great Sea. I sent out a letter requesting the aid of any adventurer that might be willing. Your reward will be 20,000 gold. If you can find the answer to this problem, you will be not a hero to this nation of Gaia, but a hero to the world. And I take it that by each of you arriving here, you have accepted this contract. To accept this mission to support the nation of Gaia, of Invest Manticore, and even the Hindred, the Isle of Concrete. Do you each accept?
I mean, will I get to kill something?
The king nods slowly and say, more than likely your travels will encounter something that requires you to kill.
And I'm in. I will Give me that good fashioned strong opponent to face.
He'll nod slowly at your acceptance, looking next to Minsk. Do you accept, old friend?
Minsk is going to slowly and begrudgingly nod, as he understands that this will take him away from the local competition for probably quite a while if there's such a mystery in the ocean.
He'll look next to Fudd. Do you accept?
When a friend needs help, you help him.
He'll nod slowly, almost chuckling at the thought. And last, he looks at Sally. Say, I can tell by your mana flow that you're a druid. You hold Gaia close. Your small friend motioning towards Muffin, who has been happily jumping around your feet this entire time.
Mm-hmm. He wants the sandwich.
His home would be in danger as well. Will you accept this quest?
I will accept it for my muffin. Do we get paid? I ask everyone else really quietly.
Minsk is gonna chuckle and just completely ignore the question.
Karagorn is going to step forward very quickly and say, the reward is 20,000 gold. Even split amongst you four. It would be more than enough to pay for the rest of your life. In fact, your next 2 lifetimes. Before
Okay.
stepping back to beside the king.
Minsk is gonna glance over towards Sally and say, that's a lot of sandwiches, by the way.
Come in, guys, and
The-
dragon.
The king, looking between you at this exchange, you notice a hint of a smile on his face as he says, I wish I had been on the same kind of mission with friends of a similar caliber, as he looks directly at you, Minsk. Treat them well. Make sure that they make it back alive.
I'm gonna nod deeply and understand that this is a task set before me by a very great friend of my family.
Very quickly, the Knight Archbane is going to step before you and say, the ship will be prepared in morn. Find lodgings. They will be paid for by the crown. Tomorrow morning, you set off. You may find something of unimaginable horror, and you may find a new land. But that is a task for tomorrow. Set forth. May you return victorious. Ushering each of you, specifically Dragnerd, who has stepped specifically close to the king, ushering you back towards the front door.
What? Do I stink?
He'll look you up and down and say, very quickly, I would like you to make a wisdom check. The presence of this knight is so overwhelming that you physically feel your scales raise in reflex as he forces you backwards towards the door.
Wouldn't that have been a Constitution check, not a Wisdom check?
It was an intimidation.
That's still Constitution.
Is it?
Yes.
Then do a Constitution save for me. I've always done Wisdom personally.
I've always seen wisdom done.
You are still forced backwards towards the door.
Oh, damn.
Damn!
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, I rolled a 19 on that one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He is an overwhelming power that is motioning you very quickly towards the door.
I'm gonna want to fight you one someday. I'm like be a good opponent. But for now, bye.
Night Archmage looks towards the last two party members that have remained,
Uh-oh.
motioning them towards the door. Minsk, as you head out, Calvin looks at you and says, I'm gonna get you for that.
Miss is gonna chuckle and wave a little quick goodbye as he quickly darts out the door.
Seeing as this is the only tavern available,
Mm-hmm.
the Gathering Storm Inn welcomes you once more. The barkeep polishing a silver goblet as he notices each of you walk in after nearly an hour's time spent at the Lord's Manor. How'd it go then? You,
It went alright, but I'd like another bowl of fresh soup. The last one sucked.
another bowl? Well, it's coming out of the same pot, but I'll make sure it's spiced up nice for you, alright?
Minsk is gonna cough as he stands next to Fudd and that's my seat.
You can sit there.
Alright then. And he sits down at the other bar stool, which is absolutely wobbly as hell.
Yes, it is. The barkeep moves off to go grab a new bowl of stew. As you hear an argument once more break out inside the kitchen.
That must be his wife.
Minsk is gonna turn around and have a little fingers crossed, a little hope in his heart that he gets the special treatment this time.
Like I said, the only way you're gonna get that, you know what you need to grow.
Minsk is gonna
I pull out the
look over.
sandwich and feed half of it to my muffin and throw the other smelly half at that dragon that is talking like that over there.
What?
Okay, I actually need you to make a roll for me. This is
your pockets.
this is the first time I've ever had to do this. Make an athletics roll for me.
Who, me?
No, Drag Nerd.
I mean, if she could even hit my AC.
That is not your AC that I'm worried about. This is a surprise attack.
Ooh.
He
Athletics?
deserves it.
Sure.
Right in the face. Come on, right in the face.
He deserves it.
Alright, give me just a moment.
I mean, I could also do acrobatics too if you really wanted me to do that.
So, that sandwich actually hits you. It hits you in the shoulder and glances off as it lands behind you on the floor. That was
Wow.
a 13 for 13 roll, by the way.
Wow.
Ha!
Ha 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 ha.
Are you gonna clean that up?
Hungry? Grab a sandwich. No, I'm not cleaning that up.
Well, you
I'm gonna
tossed it on the
finish
floor.
this. No, he did. That was him, not me.
This
I
isn't
was trying to
soccer
feed
rules.
him.
It's not who last touched the ball.
No, I was trying to feed him. It's his fault he didn't catch it.
I'm gonna quickly step around and kind of scoop it up and.
The bartender starts making his way out, looking. Oh, mercy.
I'm gonna toss it out the window.
The barkeep looks at you, tossing something out the window as he goes, Misk, what the hell are you doing?
Missy's gonna understand that his hands now smell for some deeply strange reason. Looking
My
very-
muffin had an accident and he was cleaning it up. That's all
Look-
that happened.
This is gonna be your stand-in barkeep, by the way.
Miss, I'm gonna lean back out the window and throw up at that fact. By the way, I'm gonna turn around to the barkeep and just say, "You'll thank me later."
The barkeep kind of nods slowly and drops a fresh bowl, smelling distinctly different from the stew you were served before in front of you, Fudd.
Like
Before he
better
looks
or
at-
worse, different.
Better. Significantly better. Smells almost like it's made from caraway spice.
Ooh, interesting.
As he starts moving back behind the bar. Alright then. I suppose you went and talked to the king?
Yep. And I get mead
Yep.
and the biggest mutton that you have.
He'll kind of look at you and say, this is a seabound town. I'll
Don't
see
have
what I've
mutton?
got. He'll raise an eyebrow very astutely at you and say, we don't raise a whole lot of sheep here. Most of that is reserved for the king, but I'll see what we have.
Any type of meat. I mean, just not fish. I had that for lunch.
He'll nod slowly, looking at the other three party members. Say, well, what else can I get for you?
I'm gonna lean over the bar and kind of, wave my fingers to have him come close and just ask him, "Would you mind getting a special bottle?"
He'll nod slowly and say, aye. Seafarers it is.
Mhm.
Looking at the last two party members, Fudd and Sally, anything I can get for you?
I would like a salad with some honey mustard dressing and some croutons. And then I need some sort of meat patty for my muffin. And then I want one more of those drinks that you gave me, but this time I want a little umbrella in it if possible, because this place is a little bit gloomy for me. And I will tip you extra, and then I would like to pay my tab and tip you, and you did an amazing job. Watch
He'll
your
kind
tip.
of nod slowly and say, I have no idea what an umbrella is, so my apologies on that. Salad I could do. Honey mustard. I've got a sauce. I don't know if it'll be the same, but I've got a sauce that I guess might be similar. I've never heard of a honey mustard before. I tell you what, I'll bring out whatever I can, and you tip me accordingly.
Okay, cool.
Minsk, he'll nod slowly at you before looking back at Fudd and say, anything I can get for you, lad.
Just another ale.
He'll nod, reaching behind the counter once again for the small stone, and say, a salad with the special sauce, a large shank of uncooked meat, and the largest shank of lamb we have. Before placing it back under the counter, he will head back towards the nearest tap, pouring out 4 different mugs of the concrete ale. Once he has each 4 in hand, he will reapproach the bar, setting one in front of each of you and saying, "This is on the house." It's not often that we get adventurers. He'll kind of nod at Mince. And it's even rare that we have any contracted by the king. So, take what you want. Leave nothing behind.
Very quickly snatch up his mug because he knows that this is some of the finest, most incredible whiskey in the
Ale.
Ale.
Ale,
Whatever.
ale whiskey.
Ale whiskey.
Ale-
Ale whiskey.
It,
Yes.
So, for those of you
Fortified
that don't
ale.
know,
Is that actually
the-
a scientific like?
no, so this is something created by the Isle of Conquering. So the Isle of Conquering is a Isle of scholars, and they experiment very often with their brews. So more often than not, you will find a rum or a dark ale mixed with something else. This happens to be a pale ale mixed with a whiskey. Specifically, the Isle of Conquering is the only ones that produce such wondrous concoctions.
This is gonna very
It'll
greedily
go,
start.
cheers,
Shucking
and
the bitch.
also, like, some bread for the stew, please.
He'll actually whip out a fresh loaf from behind the counter, pull out one of the daggers that he drew on Dragnerd earlier, and deftly, quick as you like, slice up the entire loaf before sliding the board out before you and say, "Fresh made every day."
Minsky's
Cheers.
definitely gonna grab like the end piece because he loves the crust.
Ooh. Can we take the bartender with us?
No, you cannot, because the bartender is actually my character in another game.
Well, can he die in that game and come with us?
He cannot, because in order for him to end up here, he has to succeed in his own campaign.
Well, can he hurry up in that campaign? Because I'm impatient and he would be fun.
I
With his
can
breath.
certainly try.
Okay, fine. Good little step you are. And I'm always hungry.
He'll very deftly slide that blade back into his waist and look towards Dragnerd and say, "So I've always been curious. How many times a day can you use that breath of yours? I've encountered it a couple times, but you know, with my old age, I tend to be forgetting things."
Yeah, which breath? The one that comes up or the one that goes down? Because if I eat too much chili, the one that goes down can happen multiple times in a day.
He'll raise an eyebrow very, very interestedly and say, "A chili? What is that?"
Spicy meatball with beans.
Beans. He'll stroke his beard, very, you know, the slight beard that he has, very, very gingerly and say, "I think I've heard of those. They come from another isle, though. Poinuvis. Poinuvis is the isle they came from. But Poinuvis was infested with fucking elves."
Eh,
He'll kind of shiver at the thought of the Isle of Poinuvis.
I mean, elves don't really bother me. It's. But to answer your your question, no. Depends on how many times I get a nice rest in. Doesn't have to be a whole long one. It just a nice short rest, and it's ready to go again.
He'll kind of nod slowly and say, "Alright, so it's about like key. I suspect 4
I know
points of key.
it's a refractal period, that's for sure.
I'd expect 4 points of key for every breath, which means you get a little bit stronger. You should be able to use that breath whenever you choose."
kind of natural. It's not going off of that I'm aware of. This is just, I wake up in the morning, I can blow it. I take a half an hour to an hour nap, I can blow it.
You see a rather stout dwarf exit what you think is the kitchen as he steps up to the bar and starts very angrily slinging food towards the barkeep. Minsk, you know this is Harry.
Lever spat?
He very angrily slings out the food and says, "There's your dumb food. I hope you choke on it." Looking at the rest of the bar members. Before very angrily truffing back to what you assume would be his kitchen.
Wow, reminds me of my ex-wife.
Maybe it's pre-mountain dwarf syndrome.
He's always been like that, don't worry.
I've seen worse.
Where's my salad?
The salad was slung out to you as well. It
Okay, muffins walking
gingerly
everywhere.
laid
eating all the
down.
salad.
As the dwarf had left, he tossed a rather large shank of what appeared to be a cow rib, covered in meat, on the floor behind him, just about here. As the request for raw food is more often concurrent with pets than it is for patrons.
Is he feeding my dragon?
He is indeed.
Oh, okay, my dragon goes over there and eats it and comes back.
This
Thank
is going
you,
to take.
kind, grouchy lady.
This is going to take Muffin quite a while, because this is a rather large shank of meat.
Yeah, but Muffin's kind of like Nibbler, you know?
Dragner,
that
in
toe.
front of you has been dropped one of the largest shanks of lamb you've ever seen in your life. Well cooked to a medium rare perfection, covered with what you can only assume is salt and pepper.
I didn't eat it. This place doesn't even have a good salad.
As in the typical dragon fashion, I just pick it up and just. Oh.
Of course.
What? I can't
No.
chew.
That
You
was
see
very
these teeth?
impressive.
Are we gonna stay here and sleep? Or are we gonna eat and leave? What are we doing, guys? People.
The
Friends.
barkeep will look at you and say, "Well, to my knowledge, the ship won't be ready till tomorrow morning. So I'd advise you stay here. We've got rooms in back that you're more than welcome to." He'll kind of nod at Minsk and say, "It'll be on your tab."
Yeah.
I'm gonna look back at him and say, I think I'd rather keep that charge off my tab. I'll just
No,
take
he's
the
gonna
short
he's
trip
gonna
home."
put me on there because you know he cares for me and my safety.
He'll shrug and say, "Well, then it's 1 gold for both rooms."
Mincy's
That
gonna
is
slap
so
down.
awesome.
Mincy's
You
gonna
are the
slap down
best.
gold.
I like this. I have a new friend.
So with you slapping down the
Very
gold, he'll
begrudgingly.
Muffet goes and gives lots of hugs and kisses.
he'll slap down the key for both rooms down in front of you.
Okay.
Minsk, and he will say, "You know where they're at. Just stay out of the kitchen, cause he's been in a fucking mood."
Mincy's is gonna nod and
No.
just very understandingly walk towards his room, taking a wide breath around the kitchen.
I'm gonna follow.
Your
Hey,
closest
Cora.
door is up here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go this way.
I'm gonna hand her the key and just say, "By the way, I never actually got your name. I'm Minsk Hinskew the Third. My
Oh,
family's quite well known around here."
are they? I'm not from here, but nice to know you, Mince. I am Sally the Not So Mute. And so I'm going to open this door, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Minsk,
go in
go ahead
here.
and roll perception for me.
Got perception?
Yes.
Let me quickly get that.
Stand by.
Which room am I supposed to go to?
I believed I rolled it, but there you go. It's gonna be a 10.
Wow, you just can't really notice anything, can you?
Yeah, I'm too relaxed. I've been
Not
around
drunk
here
enough
forever.
yet, though. Unfortunately,
I'm sorry, what?
not drunk enough though.
Well, if you haven't noticed, my character's also 4'10".
What's the conversion for silver again? What is it?
10 per 1.
10 for 1.
And how tall is your character?
Who's?
The dragon.
6'1".
Yeah, it's gonna take you longer to
I'm sure Dragnerd is also somewhere
Dragnerd.
around. Yeah, I'm sure he's also probably somewhere around the 240 range.
A pure
Mhm.
muscle.
Yeah, of pure muscle. So, absolutely.
He's a brick
Nothing will
house.
get
That's
through
what he
quickly.
is. He's a fucking brick house with a giant sword on his back, a halberd in his hand, and just wearing full chainmail.
Does he not have scales?
Oh, he has scales.
Does he have horns?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just checking. Alright, so what's going on in the hallway? We're supposed to be quiet and I'm tired.
I believe we're just waiting for 1 second. I'm waiting to
My
see
apologies.
what
So,
we're looking for.
Sally, you can choose whichever of the 2 rooms you would like. There's one with a double bed here, one with a double bed here, but also a table.
I'm just gonna take Muffin and this one over here. There's 2 beds and we can just sleep and he won't eat the apples and make a
Mince,
mess.
you have the opposing key, allowing you access to the room with a table.
Minsky's just gonna go in and kind of sit down and realize he just spent way too much money on something that he didn't need because he lives right down the road.
This is amazing.
I'm gonna walk back out and walk over to to some of the other patrons that are over here, Dragnerd and Fudd, and hold the key up and say, "Do either of you need this?"
Yes.
I'll take it.
All right, I guess I'm just paying for everyone's rooms. I'm gonna hand the key to Fudd because he's closest to me.
Are these supposed to be like single person rooms? Because I see like 2 beds.
No, they are 2-person room.
Y'all are gonna roommate and cuddle.
Don't worry, I don't
Considering their
snore.
beds are on the opposite sides of the room, I don't think they'll cuddle.
They can push them together.
They could indeed. A dragonborn and an individual with wings. Sounds like a great cuddle session.
I'm just saying.
Take my ale and go sit at the table.
I'll walk back over to
Take back in the room.
the bartender, whose name is.
You actually haven't revealed the bartender's name yet.
I know, I've been waiting for you to do so.
His name is Ard.
I'm gonna
Okay.
quickly lean
Artie.
over and drop.
That is
More
most people
gold
refer to
into-
him.
I'm gonna drop 2 gold into Ard's hand as he waits for it behind the counter, and whisper, if I can get that shipment in tomorrow, you need to give me what we talked about.
He'll nod slowly and say, we've had quite a few passengers through here. I'm sure we can get it.
Mitsu's gonna nod and just walk back out towards his house.
With that, a full day passes. Each of you sleeping in your respective rooms.
On the table.
If you choose to sleep at the table, that is your own choice.
Drank a little too much. I passed out on the table.
I believe
Once
that.
again, a guard steps in, approaching the bartender, asking where he might find the adventurers from the day prior. The bartender points him back towards the room, and Henry, the knight from the day prior in the Lord's courtroom, immediately begins knocking on your door, Fudd and Dragnard.
What?
He'll immediately call out and say, "Envoy of the Lord."
What time is it?
Sunrise!
Fuck.
What?
As you open the door, you are greeted with a bag of gold coins. 200 gold coins to be specific.
Jeez. Right.
For your gear and any travels that you might need. Make it last. These are to cover your expenses until your quest is complete.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Hey, Sally, you up?
Immediately start working his way back towards the door before exiting it.
Like, I go over and just start banging on the door for this to wake up Sally.
Sally,
I got-
what
What do
is
you
your
want?
passive perception?
What?
Time to get
I have
going.
I have to roll what?
Hold on just a second. I am checking your passive perception.
I just go back to my bed and say my prayers.
Sally, you are immediately awoken by the sound of footsteps approaching your door. Before the individual even knocks, you are wide awake.
Who is this person?
You
Sally.
will have to approach the door to know. Or recognize the voice.
Oh my god, it's that damn dragon. He thinks my pet is his uncle. I don't want to get up. She begrudgingly and annoyingly gets up.
Time to get going.
What?
Time to get going.
Okay, I'm gonna need like 2 hours to get ready.
I have that much time. I mean, I
Okay, 1 hour.
don't even have that much time.
15
got, like-
minutes.
Minsk,
Forgot about that.
you happen to catch Henry on his way out of the tavern.
Yes.
He lets
Okay,
you know
I'll
that
get
the ship
ready.
would be ready at 7. It is currently 6.
And 4.
Let's
Did he
go.
also tell me about the funding that we received?
Yes, he lets you know that he dropped off the bag of gold with the Dragonborn.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to approach Dragner really quickly, like as soon as I see him, and just state, hey, we need to get that gear done. We need to get to the ship soon. I know that he dropped off a decent amount of gold. I figured we could split it 4 ways, 50 pieces each.
What?
I said, can we split that gold 50 pieces each? Since I know he he gave us 200 pieces each, or 200 pieces as a group. And I'd like to get my gear ready before we leave.
Hold on. Ah. Okay, what was that again? So waking up.
Minsk is going to slap his hand down on the bar, annoyed that this is the third time he's had to ask about this. Give me 50 gold.
Well, aren't you a little bossy in the morning?
Well,
Do I
we
get
have-
money?
The shopkeep kind of leans on the counter a little bit more and says, "You know, I watched that man at arms come in. If you don't give him his gold, you're going to regret it. And it was the best shop locations from here to the other side of Gaia."
I'm not yet, man. Still waking
I
up.
would like
Just-
my money
he-
too. You woke
He
me up.
speaks very loudly, so as to ensure that you heard him, being a morning deaf dragonborn.
I got you. Don't worry. It's just
I know, but I have
Alright.
to put Muffin through college now because you think he's your uncle. And so that's going to take part of that money already. So I need it now so I can invest it in the bank. So when we get back, it's still here.
all right. Who's good at accounting?
Me,
Minsk is just gonna state, we don't have time for this. Can we please go?
50.
50 pieces each. I know he gave you 200. Don't try to short me.
I mean, that's the reason I'm asking who can count good. That way,
Oh.
nobody gets shorted.
Oh, okay. Just hand me the satchel and I'll make sure everything gets divvied out.
As I hand it over.
Okay. He's quickly gonna count out 50 pieces each and send them to their respective owners.
You my new best friend.
Uh,
Muffin, you're my
I'm
number
gonna
one.
hold the empty bag up and ask if anyone needs a new pouch.
Me, for my
alright.
sandwiches.
I'm gonna hand the pouch over, really confused because it's not a big pouch. It's not something you hold sandwiches in.
This is
Depends
the
on the size
best
of the
pouch
sandwich.
ever. Thank you
It's
so
like
much.
it's the size of one sandwich, Sally.
Like, I
That's
give him a
okay.
sandwich.
I've
It's
never
fine.
been given a gift before. I'm gonna cry.
Pointed out the door by Ard the barkeeper, he motions you towards a building not far from the initial shop and says, "Over there is best place to supply."
Over where?
Just here.
Oh.
Why do we have 2 coins on the map of each? Thank you.
My apologies.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Uh,
Let's
I
Was
thought I
that-
had deleted them all.
Was I
Let's go
able
shopping.
to get said item from Ard? With the
Yes,
notes
so
that ship had, right?
Ard has already given you the item.
Okay.
But he warns you that the spell still needs time to settle, which means you will not be able to utilize it for at least 2 weeks.
Miss is gonna tuck it away in his pack and give a little smile as he walks out the inn.
Okay, so we don't have an individualized map for this, so we will be role-playing the specific portion, and that is only because the program that I use to create the maps has been a pain in my rear
Accepted.
recently. So, as each of you approaches the shop, you hear a small bell ring.
Okay.
The shopkeeper welcomes you, a small hobbit of a man, motioning towards the very vast shelving units that he has set up and says, "Welcome, welcome, welcome, welcome. There are many things here for you to buy. What can I interest you in?"
Everything.
The shopkeeper raises both eyebrows at this, very interested and intrigued by your offer to buy everything inside the shop. Well, I don't think I could do quite that, but I could absolutely sell you any items you might be interested in. motioning the lead of the party, which happens to be Fudd, towards the counter. The man standing just about chest height to the counter, but the counter itself standing just below waist height for you. He motions you forward and says, "What can I help you with, friend? Please tell me what can I possibly find for you that might aid you in your adventures?"
Huh?
What kind of things do you have for an adventure?
I have armor and weapons, potions, bags of holding. I have everything an adventurer might need. Smiling very, almost with a slightly disturbing air. He is overly excited to have customers.
Nobody comes in here often, do they?
He'll
It's kind of dusty.
shrug and slowly admit, No, not quite as often as they used to, but considering the edict that the Lord has ordered, I expect many new customers, and I can in fact provide you with the best gear and supplies you could possibly ask for. What might you need today?
So in other words, you overinflated your prices.
Minsk is gonna lean around the corner, and whoever he may have been hiding behind because of, his stature is not very opposing, and say, "Hey, Bernard."
Bernard will kind of, almost at the mention of his own name, kind of shrink back and say, Minsk, it's good to see you. I hadn't realized that you were part of this adventuring party. What can I interest you in today?
Well, as long as it doesn't kill me, I'm sure you probably don't have it.
He'll scoff at the idea. Oh, you know nothing of mine kills people. I simply provide the necessary goods and services. Rope, torches, supplies for the travel. I provide everything, you know that.
But I'm guessing it's also an inflated rate.
Everything, sir?
What? I know that, Bernard, but I also know
Everything?
your 50-foot ropes have been sitting there in that pile for about 20 years. And I know that those are
He'll
not...
motion at the rope and say, but they've been well maintained. Don't you play me like that, Minsk.
It's
I
hemp.
think it's
How do you maintain hemp?
With oils and such. Are you here to buy something, or are you simply here to harass me?
Is
Wait a
he
minute, you
smoking
oil
the
your
hemp
rope?
ropes?
He'll
Don't
nod
people
and
oil
say,
their ropes?
well, it's the only way to maintain hemp.
No, it's not. It's called when it breaks, you throw it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I keep everything.
Can
Even
I
the things
inspect
that
the
some
rope?
might find of none use. I keep it just in case it might be of help to further adventurers.
So you're a
Do
hoarder.
you have anything fun?
He'll
look over.
motion towards a wide variety of hats, which seem to have some sort of spell connected to them, which include fireworks, spinning top, and a ice spell that doesn't seem to quite function the way it's supposed to.
I'm gonna look around to the group and say, if you haven't realized, Bernard isn't really a market stall owner. He's more so a scavenger.
He'll
Is there dead
point
bodies in
a
here?
very accusing finger at you and say, "These goods were acquired from the best adventurer corpse. I mean, adventurer."
So you're a thief and a peddler.
Are there
Yeah,
dead
absolutely.
bodies in here?
All right, I'm walking out.
You sound like a grave robber, good sir.
He'll shrug and say, "Well, I have the best of armor. And do you
Okay.
have plate to supplement your lacking?" And he'll motion to your chainmail, which is very obvious against your dragonkin skin. Do you have plate to supplement your armor? Do you have long swords reliable enough to take you into combat?
As I slay
She-
my halberd down, what do you think I need?
He motions to a very wide range of halberds behind him and say, I have everything from enchanted to very, very adept halberds.
Yeah, and they're probably all stolen from corpses.
Almost a low tone, and say, none of them are cursed.
You're right.
That is, and he motions almost to the desk in front of him, but just to the left of him, a small display case full of a wide range of varied items. Say, that belongs to these items, cursed in their own unique right. I can't advise that anyone buys them, but I collect them nonetheless. They're almost like a token of those that have passed. But if you would like a new halberd, say 20 gold.
Nope. Bye. As I turn and walk out.
He shrugs, saying, you'll regret that decision. Looking towards Minx now. Minx, I know that you have new need for equipment and supplies. What can I offer you? Fresh torches? Say rations for the sea.
You and I both know that I can supply my own rations on the sea, but I hate to admit your prices are the best around here.
They are indeed.
For anything that I need as a Hinskew.
He'll motion to a rather wide variety of swords, bucklers, shields, and armor on the left-hand side of his shop.
I'm going to approach the counter and look him directly in the eyes and say, you know exactly what I mean whenever I say supplies that I might need.
He'll nod very slowly and motion you towards the side of the counter where there is an entrance and say, peruse to your liking. You'll receive the usual discount.
I'm going to nod happily and begin searching through his wares.
Sally, he begins motioning at you and saying, Miss, I see. Is that a loot on your back? I think I might have just the thing for you. A brand new loot. Undiluted by salt water, as I see yours have been. The loot on your back has been warped by the salt water from your dive in the sea. It maintains its general structure, but overall has a very warped fixture, not just to the body, but also to the frame. Jimmy, that's you.
Right?
The shopkeeper is offering you a brand new instrument.
I like my old instrument. Do you have
It
any
is
armor
currently-
that will fit Muffin?
He'll scratch his chin softly, looking around the room.
Look
I-
down. Look down.
No, he's looking at his shop, not specifically at Muffin, which he's already noticed, as
Okay.
he runs a shop primarily made of wood, and that is a small dragon that has entered his abode.
Yeah, you better be nice to me, sir.
He looks around the room very quickly and says, I think I might just have the thing. He
It
reaches
better be a good thing.
far right to the counter and pulls out a small, unusual looking set of plate. It almost looks like it was made for a fairy. He says, this should be large enough to fit the small thing there in front of me. Would you perhaps like for it to try it on? As
Is
he
this a trap?
holds the mail up in front of him and say, it's not cursed. Those items are specifically reserved. I only sell those to those that are willing and accepting of the curse.
I'm sorry, what? You're trying to curse my child? My baby?
My mom?
So he had motioned previously to a small display box of cursed items. Those are the only cursed items in his shop.
Okay. I'm
But
just making
if you
sure.
would like to roll an insight check,
Yes,
you
I
abs-
would.
you absolutely can.
Alrighty, hold on. We can't be just silly. Alright, let me roll an insight. Or I think that was when. Oh, well. I got a B. Oh, 23.
A 23. So he is absolutely telling you the truth. This
Okay.
item is not cursed in the slightest. It is actually the best fitting for this piece of equipment that has been obtained by unusual means, but very legitimate means.
Okay, Muffin, here, let's try it on, baby. So I take the little outfit and I put it on Muffin. And it fits. And Muffin likes it and whacks its little tail in happiness. And I say, okay, how much?
That would be 10 gold. If you would like to roll a charisma check against him, you can.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. 10 gold. Muffin, get ready. Hold on, honey. You said wisdom or
Charisma.
charisma?
Charisma.
Is the dragon yelling at me now?
No.
Mm-mm. I got a 16.
So, the price of 10 gold is fairly firm.
Yeah, your ass ain't worth it. I'm talking to you, shopkeeper, not my Muffin. We'll find you some. Do you have some ribbon or something? Look, it's
He motions to a actually extensive line of ribbon, which are set up on individual dowels. He says it is 5 silver per yard.
Okay, I'll take some of the paint. Like, I'll take 1 yard of the paint, and then I'm gonna take 2 yards of yellow. So that's 15 silver, and I hand him the money.
He gratefully accepts, measuring it out against a longsword, which is exactly 3 meters. Using the blade, he measures and folds the yellow ribbon, and then measures once against the pink, offering both lengths to you in exchange for your 15 silver, which is 1 gold, 5 silver.
Okay, I'll allow it.
He looks back towards Minsk and says, "Have you found what you were looking for?"
Vince is gonna hop up and very excitedly push 3 different items onto the counter. Here they are. This is what I need. And it will be 3 incredibly beautiful, perfectly crafted, handmade wooden fishing lures for the deep sea, made with incredibly fine materials meant to last up against the harsh corrosion that is within the open sea.
Bernard will
Pretty.
slowly roll his eyes and say, "Oh, mercy.
I know he's buying jewelry right now.
Alright, if you would like to buy these,
Earrings.
I will gladly sell them to you. But what are you willing to offer me in return? Because obviously, these are finely crafted and worth no amount of money."
Whap him.
Well,
Minsk, roll an insight check.
hmm.
So as far as you are aware, he only wants money for these. If
Yes.
one of your allies would like to assist you, you can roll again and take the highest roll.
Okay.
Are any of your allies supporting you?
I'll support him. What do I have to do?
You are simply supporting him. Go ahead and roll again, Minsk.
Yep.
You can tell that he would like a fresh fish.
Minsk is gonna knowingly hold out his hand with a beautiful, and I mean beautiful, fresh, I'm gonna call it a sea bass that he caught earlier this morning, which he pulled from his enchanted bag, which is made
Bernard,
for fishing.
Bernard's eyes go very wide as he watches you pull this very small fish out of the bag, and he says, "I cannot believe you have one of these. How did you find one?"
Well, it took me all morning, and I finally found it.
He'll very quickly
little-
grab the fish out of your hand, waving you off with the lures, and say, "Just take them, be gone with you."
Miss is gonna very happily collect these and put them in his pouch, in his lure pouch, knowing that these were very easily worth about 10 gold apiece.
Bernard, completely distracted, waits to hear from the other the other member of the party, which has remained silent up to this point. Fudd, is there anything that you can think you might want from the shopkeeper?
So I am gonna need some of that old up hemp rope.
The shopkeeper
It turns out
very
the oil
quickly
keeps the salt water out of it.
he very quickly drops the fish inside of a unusual rectangle container before stepping back up to the counter and motioning the rope towards you, saying, please, sir, grab as many as you think you might need. They are incredibly resistant to salt water as well as any air attacks that might come at them. Earth has absolutely no effect on them.
You also said you had potions?
I do indeed. These potions run rather expensive, as he reaches behind the counter and pulls out a rather large-looking chest. Opening it up, you find individualized slots with potions in them. I have, from right to left, potions of minor healing, up to potions of greater healing, as well as potions of fire resistance, acid resistance, and wind resistance, or elemental, as most people call it.
Minsk
So
is
a
just
potion of
gonna take
wind
a.
resistance.
Can I just take a look? Just roll a perception.
Absolutely. Go ahead. So the potions in the box, you believe are inscribed with exactly what he claims. From right to left, healing on the top, potions of wind, elemental, fire and acid resistance on the bottom.
Okay. Just a quick question: is there such a thing as a potion of water breathing?
There is, although it is not in the chest that he has brought out.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Nerd. Can't breathe underwater.
Heh. Wait a second, you can't either. Hold on.
Wait, what?
So,
I can't? I thought I could.
no, you cannot.
I think Dragnerd may be able to. No?
Ragnar, I do not believe can.
I'm immune to electric damage, though.
So he is immune to electricity, but he cannot breathe underwater.
Oh, okay.
If I would have gone like with a blue dragon or an ice dragon, then yes, that is
Blue
something-
dragon is the only one that can breathe underwater. Ice dragon cannot.
Like, we're
Dragon can too.
perfectly suited for life underwater.
Definitely blue dragon, yes.
Yes, blue dragon, but he is not a blue dragon.
Oh no.
He is
No,
a
no.
yellow dragon.
I was talking about for myself.
You are perfectly suited to life underwater.
I am a bronze dragon, sir.
Oh. What does a bronze dragon have?
Lightning.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, bronze. My apologies.
So wouldn't I be able to breathe underwater?
I guess he would.
You would, in fact.
Yeah, so he can call me a nerd. Yeah.
Yeah. nerd. Yeah.
So, with your ability to breathe underwater, you acknowledge that the fact that there are acid and elemental resistance potions as being the most opportune for you.
Well, I already have acid resistance as well.
You have acid resistance and disease immunity, but that does not mean that any elemental damage will not harm you.
Well, yeah, I got the. That's what I was going for, the elemental damage bottle.
He'll motion at the
For the win.
lesser bottles and say, "These are 15 gold apiece. They are the best that you will find in any market. However, the greater potions will cost you 60 gold apiece,
Lies.
allowing you to resist the temptation of elemental damage for a full 10 minutes.
Hey, 16 gold? That sounds great.
He'll nod slowly at you and say, "No, I do not believe so. You must have misheard me. Go ahead and roll a... Go ahead and roll a charisma against the shopkeep."
Can I toss a help action in?
You can.
Because I was about to say, I'm right there with him. I was just
You,
looking at
you
the-
can indeed. Okay, go ahead and re-roll again.
Does he need more help?
He can only receive one help action. So unfortunately, the shopkeep is very firm on his pricing, saying that it is 60 gold for the greater potions, and it is 15 gold for the lesser potions. He rolled a natural 20, by the way.
God.
It was insane. I did not expect that.
I was hoping more for persuasion.
So, if you would like to try persuasion, you can. But he will counter once again.
Thought you said
That first one fails. And that second fails. He is very firm on his pricing, even after haggling with it.
So what were the potions again?
So there is greater elemental resistance, which will provide you resistance or advantage rolls against elemental damage. And there is lesser resistance, which will still grant you resistance, but not at advantage.
Yeah, I'll just take the bottle of the lesser.
He will proffer out his hand, pulling the chest slightly closer to himself, saying, 15 gold, please.
I'll hand over 15 gold for the potion
Alright.
and the ropes.
And while he offers you the bottle and closes up the chest, he nods to Minsk and the rest of you that are still remaining inside of the shop and says, "I must be closing up for the night. I apologize. You have simply drained me of my stock." Shooting a piercing glance towards Minsk, who has bought him out of all of his premium lures, which are high commodities inside of Echo Harbor.
I just wave by. Bye.
With that, we will be closing this session with each of you purchasing a new item or perhaps learning something about this world. For those of you that don't know, myself and Lord Thorn, or David, are in close relation with the absolutely fantastic Saves charity. If you would like to learn more about it, go to the About Me section down below, and you will find a readily available link to either Lord Thorn's Discord, as well as the Saves charity link, which will take you directly to their website. If you scroll to the bottom of their website, you will be able to find all of their social media accounts as well as Discord. Please go ahead and check those out if you haven't already.
You got
Well,
it.
To be precise, it's not just Wordrunner and myself. It is also Zach and
That's true.
Jimmy
My
as well.
apologies. My apologies.
So 4 out of the 5 people here tonight are with Saves.
We have an abundance that are with this charity, and we absolutely
and the
believe in
potato
their
has
cause.
been planted, and he will soon be blossoming in Saves too.
We have more members on the way. So please feel free to stop by, say hello, interact with us as much as you feel free, and understand that we have programs available for those of you that might wish to interact with somebody one-on-one for mental health assistance. We also have a absolutely fantastic staffing team. Eric, who you will find most often inside the chat, is a veteran himself. So, if you would like to chat with him or even chat with us, feel free to follow the links, jump into the Discord, and you will be greeted gladly.
On that note, everybody, thank you so very much for coming and joining us for session number 1 of Grumpy Vets Play D&D. On that
We
note,
love you.
I thank you all for so very much for coming out again. And as Brennan said, please take that moment, check out the charity, check out my About Me section, come and join me at the Forge, where we all just have a good old time and build each other up as we go through this crazy thing called Life of Hearts. So everybody,
Yeah.
I've already checked. There is currently nobody out that I would like to send you off to tonight. So we're just going to be ending it here. But as always, the last
Zine,
not tonight. He's just about to start a new series with 2 other people, and I don't want to distract from that.
absolutely.
So everybody, thank you again very much. And as always, here is our last bit. You all be good. You be nice to each other. Ball next week. Same bat time. Same grumpy channel. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
That was not the right... What? Why? Why do you fail me? There we go.
Bye bye.